Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Tom's Corner, where you can hear the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. Topic of our lesson today: what is the significance of the number 7? Seven, in the starting from Genesis, has a reference point to the day of rest. That's one thing that it does, or completion. Okay? But it also has different meanings throughout the scripture, which we're going to go into right now. Starting off in Ecclesiastes 11:1. Cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days. What does this mean? Do good wherever you go. After a while, the good you do will come back to you. You understand or comprehend that? I'm sure you do. A lot of people have variety, innuendos, or interpretation about this, but this is the easiest and the most proliferate one I believe to be. Okay, let's go down into Proverbs 11:18. The one who sows righteousness reaps a sure reward. Galatians 6:9. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Do you comprehend that? The problem with most people today, they give up before they even start. And I find that to be very true. I've lived long enough, like I said in the last thing I was talking to you about. I've lived long enough to know what I'm talking about because I've saw it so many times. Even the Bible points to it. If I keep going through it, eventually it's going to rub off on me. All right, Matthew 5:44. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, and to do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. Why do you do that? You see that and you say, oh, Lord, I can't do that. I can't do that. You got to understand that God is the judge of all. And if God is fighting your battle for you, God's going to intervene, and God's going to take care of everyone that spitefully uses you or even does you wrong. Let God be the judge in the matter. All right, let's go on down. 1 Kings 18:43 and 43. And he said to his servant, go up now, look toward the sea. And he went up and he looked and said, there is nothing. And he said, go again. 7 times he went up that mountain. You know what we're talking about here? Sure you do. You ever studied the Bible? Hey, the prophet of God, amen, Elijah, this is who we're referring. Elijah was telling his servants to go up on the mountain. Why? Because he had proclaimed and stopped the rain. And there was a great vast drought across the land. And water was so scarce it was like gold. You can't drink your gold when there is no water. You see what I'm saying? That's what they're trying to say. You can't put salt on gold and eat it. So essentially, the net worth of gold is what you place the value in your mind. Just because you dig it out of the ground and it's hard to get out, and the fact that it's very scarce, it don't mean anything when you're hungry. Okay, now what happened? He sent him up on the mountain at least 7 times. What was he looking for? And let's go down and we're going to find out. Number 44. And it came to pass at the 7th time. Here's the significance in 7. That he said, behold, there arises up a cloud out of the sea like a man's hand. Like a man's hand. Can you imagine standing on a mountain and you looked as far away as you could and you could see that cloud rise up, and from his point of view at that time, he could see it just like this, a man's hand. That is the significance of something, people. Something that you can look out and see on the seventh time that God is moving, that God is working. All right? Now, a sidebar on this, I've got a item that I placed that I'm seeking for 7 people that can band together. Well, we're talking about 5 because my wife and I are 2. That's a total of 7. So we're seeking God's face, and we realize the devastation that's going on. And listen, right after I put that message on Facebook, on Frida's Facebook, almost within a spitting distance, there was death. It's not going to stop, people. Now, I'm going to tell you something else. I'm going to break bad on this one. Let's go tonight. This is what we do. Let's go tonight. We'll have a prayer meeting, a watch, bringing the new year in. Now, I can remember years and years ago when I was a young man, and that I invited people from the church and everything, the pastor and a lot of members of the congregation. I had a nice big home in Cleveland and a big enough living room. And we would come together. You know what we did? We danced, we shouted, we played, and we ate. No, we never. No, we never. We prayed. We sought God's face. And we stayed on our knees. And we stayed on our knees. And I'm going to be truthful with you. Some actually fall asleep on their knees. On their knees on the carpet. Hands folded on the couch. Yes. But that's expected. But I'll tell you what. I'd rather be on my knees and fall asleep, seeking God's face all night long, than I would be what's going to be happening on this new year. Because on this New Year's, what do? You gather together, you bring somebody you think's very important. He's going to sing you some songs. You're going to be so giddy and happy. Then you're going to go eat some food for a while, come back a little bit more, and then you'll close out, I don't know, supposed to be around 12 o'clock. It doesn't get it. I'm just going to tell you, it doesn't get it. And I'm going to tell you something else. This is pertaining to what I spoke about our county. I'm still telling you, if you don't get your hides lined up and quit playing goofy stuff, what we're doing, playing church. We need to get real. If you don't recognize what we're trying to do and you badmouth it, you see what I'm saying? God will judge your high. We're going to see afflictions in your life, your people around you to know, and there's going to be more and more and more and more deaths. Yeah. Because now, when you reject the man of God and the people of God, what happens to you? God will come and bring judgment. What we're getting now is the demonic spirits and the demonic ones that rule and fallen angels reigns that are in force trying to destroy us. But when you badmouth what God has ordained, and I feel it's God ordained it. Well, I don't see how God's ordaining and calling you to try to bring a prayer meeting. We've been praying all along, but you're not getting results. You're a hypocrite. You're not getting results. You sit there, lay there, whatever you want to do, Mom. Okay, let's go home. That's the problem with this day. We're so stinking lazy, it burns my hide. Like my mother used to say, it makes my neck hot, even thinking about that, playing church that bad. God knows you're a phony. God knows you're pulling that crazy stuff because you're not going to enjoy and join in with us. You're not. And I knew that. But yet, I give you the opportunity to do that. Now that I've given it to you, and you decide, well, I'll let them do it. I'm going to do it. God's judging you now, okay? You think devastation's hard? You think that everything's been happening here is breaking your heart? It's coming, people, but it's coming to your door. All right. Let's go on. Now here's one for you too. In 43, 1 Kings 18 and 43. And he said to his servant, go up now, look towards the sea. And went up and looked, and he said, there's nothing. And he said, go again. I'm reiterating this because you're not getting it. And it came to pass at the seventh time that they said, behold, there rises a little cloud out of the sea, like a man's hand. Going down, 2 Kings 5, 10 and 15, 10 through 15. Naaman dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan River as instructed by the prophet Elisha. Do you hear what I'm saying? 7 times has a significant meaning. And in the case right here, this leper, this great leader here and a war leader came, and the prophet of God wouldn't even go out and talk to him, told his servant out there, tell him to get his hide down the Jordan River. Oh, no, I'm not going no muddy river. But you know what? Somebody else got a hold of him to him and said, hey, what do you got to lose? What do you got to lose? He was continuously been a leper and died from leprosy. So what I'm saying to you, if you don't wake up, what do you got to lose? What do you got to lose? You're sick. You're dying. Your people are dying. Your friends are dying. Like I reiterated and said it before, they're dying. But yet you're going to harden your hearts, and I know that. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. And by doing so, you bring judgment on yourself. Okay? Genesis 7 and 2. Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens, the male and his female. We're referring to purity here. We're referring to something that God will honor, because he said 2 or 3 gather together, I will be in the midst. And I told you about that before. 2 or 3. But what I'm saying is this: we need the purity. We need a pure heart. We need people that are not weaklings in this thing. And you know what? If you do come, I'm going to tell you who's coming. It's going to be people least expected. It's going to be people that you look upon as trash or that are no good. But you know what? I remember what the Bible said. It said the wealthy man created a big feast, and he sent notification. And he said, I bid you come. I've got a banquet. I want you to come. But these people were so elite, they said, well, I go to marry, I can't do it. My ox is in it, I can't do it. But you know what? According to what the Bible said, he sent his servants out into the streets where the poor was, the sick, the afflicted. And he said, go out into the highways and byways and bid them come. People, if you don't watch out in your sanctimonious attitudes, God will move you aside, and he'll bring people that you never dreamed in your life that you considered as worthless and no good. He will bring them in, and he will use them. He will use them, people. And I believe we're almost at now in Clay County. It grieves my heart to think that we, as people in our county, we neglect so great a salvation. God's been good to you. You know he has. He's been good to me. Hey, he heals me. He blesses me. He's the only thing I live for. Number one. Place him first. God bless. I hope you've heard my voice, and I hope you've listened and thought about this. Hopefully, I'll be able to see you the next time. God bless.